Okay, hello everybody. Thank you so much for your time this evening. My name is Bill. I'm the Director of Sales for Samara, and this is Eric Barreto. He is one of the founding partners. Before we get started with tonight's webinar, I just wanted to point out a couple of things. At the bottom right of your screen, you will see a button to press to ask a question. You can ask questions at any time during the webinar. Also, we will be sending out a video recording of this webinar for you to review later, and also to share with anyone that you'd like to. So let's get started. For tonight's agenda, I'd first like to start by saying that this will be a mini webinar, and that will be strictly focused on the Samara Beach Studios, and we'll be limiting our time to approximately 15 minutes. We do have a library of more extensive webinars. These include the background of Samara, the background of their team, and also some webinars on legal issues. We'll start off tonight with an introduction to South Lombok and to Samara, followed by a presentation on the Samara Beach Studios, and finally a question and answer session. So let's go and get started with an introductory video.
Indonesia presents an extremely interesting opportunity for investors all over the globe. Situated in the emerging Southeast Asia region, Indonesia is on track to be the world's fifth largest economy by 2030. It has the fourth largest population in the world and a rapidly increasing domestic middle class, putting the country in the top 10% of global GDP. The Indonesian government are committed to developing the tourism infrastructure across the country, doubling international tourism within the next 5 years. Given the popularity of Bali as an international tourism destination, Lombok, as its closest neighbor, has been identified as the core driver of tourism growth. Lombok is the fastest growing island in Indonesia, with the government having already invested in its key infrastructure of roads, power plants, waste management, and water treatment facilities, as well as an international airport with direct flights to Singapore, Malaysia, and Australia. What's more, regional airline AirAsia has named Lombok a hub for their Indonesian business. A deep-sea port is also under construction, attracting luxury cruise ships from around the world and fast boats from Bali. Following the government's efforts, private investors have been busy developing villas, hotels, resorts, and restaurants, as well as Indonesia's very first luxury yacht marina. With the opening of the international airport in the south of the island, South Lombok has become the hotspot for both government and private investment alike. Mandalika, the largest government-backed tourism project in Indonesia, is underway. This fantastic destination will boast a MotoGP circuit, theme park, water sports center, nature reserve, and 2 championship golf courses, with accommodation to suit, including Club Med, Pullman, and Paramount Studios. To top this off, South Lombok's beautiful coastline, with soft white sand and turquoise seas, is consistently voted the destination for Asia's top beaches. South Lombok is truly an idyllic paradise to explore and enjoy outdoor living at its best, with world-class infrastructure to back it up. For an investment that sears the soul, invest in South Lombok.
Wow, fantastic. So why Samara Lombok? We were one of the first large developers to come to this area, and we started looking for our ideal location at least 15 years ago. We looked at over 1,000 sites, many of which took the efforts of a boat, a motorcycle, even a horse to get through, and of course, hacking through the bush with a machete to find the most perfect and pristine location we could find. We kept coming back to this one site, and as you can imagine, we chose it. Alongside of our development, the island of Lombok was growing up. As you noticed from the video, the opening of the international airport, the infrastructure development with power plants and waste sewage plants, the roads, the marina, and the yacht marina have all put Lombok on the map. So we asked ourselves one very important question. Could we make a development that would exactly match what we would like to have in a development and what the demands of the market were, while at the same time maintaining the importance of sustainability with the local community, as well as the long-term growth of our project. We also fully understood the importance of a robust and secure legal structure. What an amazing journey it has been for everyone involved, and how exciting to see the evolution of South Lombok and of Samara. Our development started with the initial cut-throughs of the main roads. This quickly led to roads with fully sealed roads, full drainage, we have power and water connectivity, and there's even fiber optic available in the bay. We started then the development of our first luxury villas, due to complete at the end of this year, which will be followed by an additional 20 luxury villas alongside of our facilities and a clubhouse, all aligned with the same construction milestones. With nearly 150 investors across villa and land plots, we've noticed a demand for a unique lifestyle investment opportunity at a lower price point with full flexibility and fully managed, yet inside of the Samara community. Something for everyone. So we're really pleased tonight to announce the launch of the Samara Beach Studios. We'll start with a brief video, and then I'll hand it over to Eric.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're extremely excited to be sharing details of the Samara Beach Studios with you. And that video hopefully gave you a bit of an overview and a sense of the product. But I'd like to jump straight into the investment details, investment points before sharing more details later. The opportunity we have today is to buy a freestanding individual studio unit for $225,000 US. Now that is a full turnkey price, and by that we mean fully inclusive of all legal fees, taxes, and all furniture, all the way through to include utensils, linens, literally everything you would need to move into your studio and to start renting it out. Samara management also guarantees owners a minimum 5% cash return in years 1 and 2 of operation. Owners also benefit from 45 days of complimentary stay each year, as well as $5,000 of food, beverage, spa credit to be used not only within the Samara Beach Studio Resort, but within the facilities across all of Samara. I think it's important here to mention that investors are full owners of their beach studio unit. So that means they have full flexibility to use the unit when they wish, as well as able to sell the unit at any time. The concept for the Samara Beach Studios really revolves around 4 key areas: live, work, play, and earn. So let me explain these a bit further. Live. So the studios have been designed to be lived in or to be rented out. They're being built to luxury standards. They are extremely comfortable. They offer direct access to the facilities. So they're a great space to spend extended time. Work. All studios have their own desks within, but they also offer direct access to our co-working space. Play, well, direct access to all the facilities, but also just a 2-minute stroll to one of Lombok's most beautiful beaches. So direct access to surfing, snorkeling, diving, horse riding, mountain biking, just to name a few activities. And earn. So as a fully managed product, owners are able to rent out their studio and earn rental income whilst they're not using it themselves. Let's take a closer look at the resort. So at the top of this image, you can see the individual freestanding beach studios and then the resorts and facilities below. We wanted to keep the resort small and with a boutique feel. For us, it was extremely important that owners get to know the staff and that the place feels personal and like home. Now, we're often asked, who are these beach studios for? Well, in honesty, they're for everyone. Owners who've invested to date are extremely varied. We have digital nomads who are looking forward to making the most of our co-working space. We have professionals who are excited about the concept of two-city or two-center living. So being able to have access to beautiful beaches, but being within a resort with a gym and a spa. And of course, we also have families who are looking to make the most of our kids club, our choice of restaurants, and of course, easy access to the beach. So lots of facilities, not in the least, an open air cinema with fantastic views. The studios are all very large and spacious. They're 64 square meters each. They're a 2-minute stroll to the beach and even closer to the facilities. They are all on premium land, and so there's limited space. We've only been able to fit 22 studios in this area. The units are offered on a 90-year leasehold structure, and owners have full flexibility in terms of being able to live in their unit or rent it out. In terms of next steps, we encourage people to speak to one of our sales team. As I mentioned, we only have 22 units and they are selling quickly. If you would like to move forward, we ask for a refundable deposit of $2,500. That will take the unit off the market for you for 14 days whilst you complete your due diligence and you review our contracts in full. At the end of those 14 days, if you would like to move forward, you would then pay $87,500, making your total payment by that stage $90,000, and the remaining $135,000 take you to the full investment price of $225,000, is then payable in a staged manner, aligned directly to the construction of your individual unit. I hope you found this informative. It's been very quick to the point, and I look forward to some questions. This brings me to the end of the presentation part of the webinar. So we'll open up the floor to questions, and over to you, Bill.
Thanks, Eric. And thank you everyone for asking questions. Yes, we are pretty much right on time, which is fantastic. I do believe we have time for 5 or 6 questions. So I've bundled some of the questions as they've been coming in through the webinar to try to make it more efficient. So in general, people have asked, Eric, what do I actually own when I buy a Samara Beach studio?
Okay, so investors are firstly getting the piece of land, so the underlying land below the studio, and then they're getting the actual studio unit itself. So there's a freestanding studio unit. So owners are getting a 90-year leasehold of the land and of the building itself. And that leasehold is directly in the investor's name.
Great. I think related to that, some guests have asked, what if I don't use my complimentary 45 days or the complimentary 5,000 food and beverage credit?
Those benefits work on a use it or lose it basis. So they're not benefits that can be rolled or bundled across a number of years. That said, we are very flexible and owners are able to sell on their unused nights to friends, family, colleagues. Also, owners have the flexibility of renting or using, I should say, multiple units at the same time. So to give you an example, you could choose your unit and 2 others. So 3 units in total for 15 days, taking you up to the 45. So you could bring your friends and family along, or you could just go on your own and stay for longer. So a very flexible approach.
I think you answered this next question in brief, but one attendee wants to know, are they limited to their own villa? And contrary to that, if I want to rent my villa, but someone else is in it, what are the options available for me?
Okay, I think that first part related to the last point, really owners have a choice of villas. They can use their own villa or another based on availability. They are all identical units. All owners will get priority booking, so access to the bookings calendar before it's open to the public, so people can reserve. That said, if you're looking to come down last minute and the unit, your personal unit is booked, we would offer you other units that are available for you to pick from.
Great. During the questions, we've had a couple of questions additionally come in. One is tied to returns. So the attendee's asking, are my returns tied specifically to my own villa?
No, they're not. The returns are pooled, which means revenue and costs are all pooled collectively across the 22 units. So you're not reliant on the occupancy of your own villa, but looking at it as a pooled system across the resort.
Great. On the financial side, what are my obligations if I am an owner to Samara Beach Studios?
Great question. I'd start off by saying here that the units are fully managed. It's really a fully managed product. And by that, I mean Samara management looks after the housekeeping, the maintenance of the unit, the paying of all the utilities, the upkeep of the facilities and the resort. And Samara then charges a fee for those services, which is deducted directly from the revenue. So Samara management pays out profit after deduction of those fees accordingly. So it's a real hands-off investment with all the benefits of lifestyle and being able to stay there.
Great. We've run just a bit over, but let's try to squeeze in one last question. I'm sure it's not a surprise that several people have asked, what is the impact of COVID on South Lombok and specifically on Samara?
Yes, that is a question I hear quite frequently. I think good to split this into two parts. The first being the impact on tourism in general. Of course, this has impacted the whole world, and Indonesia is not immune to that. Indonesian borders have been closed, so it has impacted tourism. At Samara, we're not yet operational, and we're actually in construction mode, so tourism perspective hasn't impacted us at all. We actually expect the future of tourism to be low density resorts, and we think that plays well for the future of South Lombok and the future of Samara. In terms of how has it impacted Samara, strangely, it's been a sales accelerator. I know that sounds like a strange thing to say, but we feel that COVID has made people realize that by and large, they can work from anywhere. So we have a lot of investors excited about the possibility of living in two places and two centers, or spending extended time in their units. Additionally, this time, there's a lot of people who believe that the stock market and the bond markets are frothy and quite overvalued. So the idea of investing in something tangible, which they can use, has been very attractive. So from a sales side, I'd say COVID has been sort of a strange accelerator. From a construction side, we haven't been interrupted in any way. We're lucky that we have a large construction team living and working on site. So they've been able to continue throughout the period.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Unfortunately, we are going to have to wrap up. Questions that we weren't able to get to, please rest assured we'll be emailing you directly along with a copy of the webinar. So on behalf of myself and Eric, thank you very much for attending, and we will be in touch shortly.